my seat. And that's 34. Welcome to the Knights Sports Arena at Southern Virginia University for today's men's basketball matchup featuring the Lions of Penn State Harrisburg and your Southern Virginia University Knights. President Wilcox and the Southern Virginia staff, thank you for your support of student athletes and coaches participating in today's contest. In the spirit of good sportsmanship, they ask you to respect the following Southern Virginia rules. Please cheer loudly and proudly for your team, not against the visitors. No profanity, vulgarity, racist or sexist remarks. No personal remarks towards players, coaches, or officials. Please stay away from the playing area and the team bench areas, and please remember there's a zero tolerance for alcohol and tobacco use at all contests. Thank you for your cooperation, and go Knights!
All right, I'll respect that.
In accordance with tradition at Southern Virginia University, we will begin with a word of prayer, which will be offered by Charles Berry.
Our dear, kind, and gracious Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this opportunity to meet together as sports fans and athletes to play the wonderful game of basketball. Please bless us, Father, that we'll be able to be blessed with safety and that we'll be able to be vigorous and enthusiastic in our game, but at the end of the game that we'll be able to be good sportsmen and be brothers and sisters under thee. We thank you for all many, many blessings, and we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Now, if you would all please rise and face the flag for the playing of our national anthem. And now, starting lineups. First, the visiting Penn State Harrisburg Lions. At forward, wearing number 1, 6'3" sophomore Brandon Coleman. At guard, wearing number 2, 5'7" freshman Danye.
Welcome to Knights Sports Arena here as the Knights of SVU face off against the Lions of Penn State Harrisburg. We have the starting lineups for both teams. First, Penn State Harrisburg.
Penn State Harrisburg offer a lot of strength at those guard positions, but also joining the fourth and then number 34, Khalil Williams. Khalil Williams is the second leading scorer on this team with 14 points a game. Joining him, number 40, Chris Bing, senior standing at 6'8" from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
And now, the starters for your Southern Virginia Knights.
Your Knights of Southern Virginia. At guard, wearing number 20.
First one will be Austin Wood. He hasn't been in the starting lineup for a couple weeks. Finally making his way back here. Brother of women's basketball player Amanda Wood.
At guard, wearing number 23.
Number 23, Jameer Cross. The man who, a couple weeks ago, again, as we mentioned on previous broadcasts, made onto the Sports Center top 10.
At forward, wearing number 24, 6'6".
And Trey Dill, the freshman from Dietrich, Idaho. Was a great contributor both on the defensive boards and scoring as a whole. Great outside shot. Now number 32, Alec Johnson. The senior leader, the distributor, the guy who can do it all. And the big man, number 44, Tyler McCready. The man who towers over everybody else on the floor. And it should be an exciting one, Chris.
Dawson, absolutely should be. Two teams with so much potential and so much riding on this one game. The Knights, plethora of talent. You got Alec Johnson. You've thrown in Austin Wood into the starting lineup. Should be an interesting game to see what he does in one of his few starts for the Knights this season. See if he can take kind of that Alec Johnson role of being the point guard, being the floor general. Him and Alec Johnson both on the floor. Should be some great playmaking opportunities for both of those guys, especially with such dynamic players like Tyler McCready and especially Trey Dill.
Absolutely, and a big story for the Knights is the return of Jameer Cross to the starting lineup. He's been dealing with some injuries in the past few games. Finally able to come back. They have missed his contribution greatly.
They absolutely have. He offers so much to this Knights team. Such a spark plug on the offensive defensive side. And like you mentioned, he is so capable of those highlight plays. And as soon as he gets one, the Knight Arena erupts. His team erupts. He just gets his team always in it with the way he plays and the energy and spirit that he brings.
And the Lions of Penn State Harrisburg win the tip-off. Number 2, Donye Baylor-Carroll, the leading scorer for the Lions, was able to take it up.
Dawson, I just want to take a minute to talk about number 2 for the Lions, Donye Baylor-Carroll. Leading scorer for this Lions team, averages right around 15 points a game, 14.9. He also averages 42.5% from beyond the arc. And like it's just shown there, just evident, he's so dangerous from beyond the arc, and he only stands at 5'7".
And you know you have to have the good outside shot if you don't have the height advantage. Now the Knights have it. Jameer Cross to Alec Johnson. Cross-court pass to Austin Wood. Trey Dill with it now. Johnson. Jameer Cross.
Dawson, it'll be interesting to see what the Knights' offensive strategy is for this game. You've seen in times past they focus more on the post or from 3, either choosing one or the other. Be interesting to see which one they go to, or if they go to something completely new.
That was a good baseline attempt from Tyler McCready, and he also stole it back for the Knights, giving them another possession. Trey Dill for 3. No good. Rebounded by number 5, Zachary Scott III. Stolen by Jameer Cross.
And that pass coming cross court, just no one there in the end of it.
Johnson for 3, and that's good. The senior making his presence known early on, tying it up at 3. The Knights showing some pressure now. The Lions able to manage and get it to their side of the floor. Carroll in the paint. Carroll with it. Dribble drive, go up for the layup, and that's good by Baylor-Carroll.
Got to find a way to stop Donye Baylor-Carroll. He's 2 of 2 right now in the game. He scored the only points for the Lions so far. He's the leading scorer. You need to make that evident. That's probably something you talked about during practice and in the locker room before this game, of how to control Donye Baylor-Carroll. So sneaky, able to get into the paint when you don't think it really should be able to.
A great pass from Alec Johnson in the paint to Tyler McCready. He wanted the dunk, but instead we'll get the foul call.
I really like that play from Alec Johnson. Just able to drive it in. Appeared like he was going to go up with it, but just dishing it to a wide open Tyler McCready. Tyler McCready unable to finish through the contact there, but he'd be sent to the line, and he shoots decently for the foul line.
Now Tyler McCready, like you just said, is very consistent from the foul line. Will attempt his first free throw of the day. That one's up and good. Score being 5-4. McCready's second free throw is up. And that's good, tying it up at 5. The Lions with it now. Zachary Scott III. Carroll for 3. And that's good for Carroll. He has started off on fire. As he gets a steal on the inbound pass. Carroll, great pass on the inside. That was from number 40, Chris Bing, for the layup. And a timeout from Coach Greg Winslow, SVU.
The thing about it was Coach Winslow was calling a timeout long before his guys even inbounded the ball, which led to the turnover that landed in the hands of Donye Baylor-Carroll. The referees just didn't hear him. You saw Coach Winslow yelling it 3 or 4 times, timeout, 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 trying to get an opportunity to talk to his guys, but the referee just didn't hear him, and it led to really a wide open opportunity for Chris Bing and the Lions.
Absolutely, and Danya Baylor-Carroll averages about 14.9 points a game, already has 8. He has started off just rocket hot, making 2 3-pointers, 2 for 2 from 3, 3 for 3 from the field. I mean, to you, Chris, what is one thing you can do to try to shut down such a prolific scorer like that?
Well, Dawson, it's really hard because can't do really any better than perfect. Danya Baylor-Carroll showing why he's leading scorer for this team. He's just so quick. You need to take your best, quickest, longest defender, which I believe is Trey Dill. Either poke Trey Dill or even put it in Neil Davis, the former football star turned into a basketball player here for Southern Virginia. Put them in. They need to have the speed to stay in front of it, but also the length to make sure that it doesn't get around and contest those shots. He's only 5'7". So for him to get a three-point shot wide open, that's not off a pass that he has to create himself, it's just a testament to how great he is on offense and how much need your most prolific defender in front of him. You can't allow him to get those open shots.
Absolutely, and the Knights need to respond here offensively. Having 5 points early on, they've started out pretty good on the offensive side. Hit a 3 from Alec Johnson and 2 free throws from Tyler McCready, so not too shabby for them right now. It's just making sure that they can keep up with the offensive powerhouse that the Lions are right now. Now Austin Wood with it. Defended by Carroll, now Alec Johnson with it. Wood for 3. And that's going to be no good, rebounded by the Lions.
You saw Austin Wood, he knew that that shot was not what he wanted as soon as it came off his hands.
Nearly taken away by the Knights, and eventually is taken away by the Knights. Jameer Cross with it now. The refs electing to let the Knights and the Lions play a little bit, not being too tacky on the foul calls. But that one will be a charging foul on Tyler McCready.
And Chris Bing there, the one who drew the foul, drew the charge, knew exactly what he was doing. You saw in Tyler McCready's eyes, as soon as he gets that ball, he's putting it on the floor, he's trying to get to the basket, which is really what Tyler McCready does. That's where his strong points are. We have so much attention drawn by Trey Dill and Jameer Cross. They're the 2 top leading scorers for this team. It gives Tyler McCready the opportunity to have one-on-ones, and he wins them every single time. He's leading the team in field goal percentage, right around 60%. And it looks like Chris Bing did his homework, knew that he was going to try it, and drew that charge.
And that short shot is missed by Brandon Coleman. Rebounded by the Knights, Jameer Cross with it. Goes in for the layup. Up, and rebound and put down by Tyler McCready. Snagged it out of the air and threw it back home.
No one boxed out Chris Bing, and not a single Lion was near Tyler McCready. And when you're 6'10", you should be able to do that every single time. What a great finish from Tyler McCready.
My goodness, now the Lions with it. Carroll for 3. No good, his first missed three-pointer of the day. Taken away by Alec Johnson. Austin Wood with it. Dribbling in, kicks it out. Trey Dillon to Tyler McCready. Goes up and is stripped out of his hands by Bing. And it'll go out of bounds, and the ball will go to the Lions.
Media timeout.
Well, media timeout here. Sorry about that, Chris.
I was just about to say in that last position, Tyler McCready looking to, again, put it in. He knows he has the height advantage over Chris Bing. Chris Bing 6'8", Tyler McCready 6'10", bordering 6'11". He wants that one-on-one opportunity every time. His confidence has grown so much throughout this season. If you watch in the earlier games, Tyler McCready's always looking to pass it out. Now that he's had a few games where he's been a prolific scorer and prolific rebounder, he has that confidence now to go in and do it. I think with this timeout, Coach Winslow really needs to let his guys know that the way to stop this team is stay in front of the guards. Their big guy's not going to do much unless the opportunity arises and he's wide open. The guard and perimeter defense needs to be solid if you want to stay in this game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely will, especially for how well they're shooting three-pointers early on the Knights side. Already shooting 66.7%, 2 of 3. And so, like you said, that locked-out exterior defense is going to be very key for the Knights with that post advantage. And again, we'll mention that Greg Winslow, the coach for Southern Virginia University, is in his first year as a head coach, taking over from last year and many years previous coach Tony Caputo. And the Knights this year have had some great weapons, had some great moments, some great games, have had some struggles getting wins, though. On a little bit of a slump right now. They find themselves in last place in the conference. but again, have that capability and that talent to build themselves up later on this season.
Absolutely, Dawson. You have all the keys to be able to be successful. It's a new team, a lot of new faces. A lot of new faces, just got to be able to put it together. To take all these pieces that you have great pieces. You have an all-star center. You got a really great guard in Jameer Cross and a really good forward in Trey Dill. All these young pieces that you need to put together. It's just a first season with these guys together. They'll eventually put it together. The future is bright for this Knights men's basketball team.
And you see Tyler McCready on the outside covering Carroll. And that shot is short, but rebounded by Carroll. Bing from the outside. Jumper no good. Rebounded by Trey Dill. Kicked out the cross. Baseline dribble. And they're going to say it was a foul before the shot. He made the reverse layup, but of course after the foul.
Foul on blue 2.
And that'll be on number 2, Danya Baylor Carroll.
Second team foul.
We'll have some substitutions in here for the Lions. First, number 3, Ibn Hanif Nelson. And then number 0, Keenan Wise. Tyler McCready up and in for the layup. A nice inbound pass to bring them within 1.
Been a great run shown by the Knights so far. They're finding the open man. They know that Tyler McCready has the matchup advantage every single time. I don't think the big guys for the Lions can hang with Tyler McCready for a full game.
As Tyler McCready now has 6 points. Interior to number 22. That's a missed shot. Rebounded by number 34, Khalil Williams, and put back in. And the ref thought that Coach Winslow had called timeout, so he blew his whistle, but instead it'll just be Knights ball.
Coach Winslow not yelling timeout, instead yelling what everyone here in the Knight Arena was thinking with, you need to box out. Just wide open opportunity there for the Lions to put up a shot.
Yeah, boxing out is so key with rebounding. It's the only way you get consistent rebounding. Kicked out to left side. Trey Dill to Cross. Austin Wood hands it off to Alec Johnson. Shot clock winding down. Shot by Austin Wood. The three-pointer is good as it beats the shot clock.
Love that play there by the Knights, Dawson. Using up the time, using up that entire shot clock, getting a high-quality shot with Austin Wood, who's very good from beyond the three-point line. So a safe shot, and you get the benefits at the end.
Must run in the family, as Amanda Wood for the women's basketball team is one of the leaders in three-point percentage. Nearly stolen away by the Knights. Tipped around between, it felt like 6 different people, but finally goes in from a shot by Dylan Daniels.
And you saw that ball bouncing around a few players. Like you said, Dylan Daniels it fell to him. It really just fell in his lap, and he had to open shot there.
It's like a pinball machine that ended up working for him. Now the Knights have the ball. Alec Johnson with it, now being almost double-teamed. Tyler McCready on the inside, goes for the slam, but is fouled. Foul goes to number 3, Ibn Hanif Nelson, who just recently checked in.
And Dawson, even though that play didn't end the way that the Knights probably would have wanted with Tyler McCready getting fouled and getting sent to the line, so much went into that play. So many good things you can take from that play. A great pass by Alec Johnson and great work by Tyler McCready. He had 2 guys on him to be able to get that space, get that position for Alec Johnson to even have the opportunity to get the pass up.
Absolutely. As Tyler McCready's first free throw is up, and it's good. And it's so hard when you're defending against a guy who can slam it down like Tyler McCready can. If you want to limit the big play momentum, you have to basically foul him or stuff him.
And it must be even doubly frustrating because when you send McCready to the line, he shoots well from the foul line. He has such a good touch on the outside shot. He doesn't really shoot it from beyond the arc three-point line, but he has the mid-range game and he has the close-up post game. He's as complete as a center as you would want. And he's really picked it up throughout the season because he started the season, like we said, he started timid, a little shy, but now he's really come to fruition, and the stage is Tyler McCready's to have.
He absolutely has, as he makes both those free throws, tying it up at 14. The three-point attempt is no good by Keenan Wise, but rebounded by Alec Johnson. Tyler McCready now has 8 points. Alec Johnson at the post. Passes it in to Jameer Cross, the fadeaway jumper, no good. Rebounded by Ibn Hanif Nelson. Carroll with it. Nelson on the left side. Back up to Wise.
Keenan Wise, he leads this Lions team in three-point percentage, shoots 50% from the three.
Stolen away by the Knights, but immediately taken back by Wise. Corner for Carroll, and that's good, even with Jameer crossing his face.
You leave Danye Baylor-Carroll open, he's going to make you pay, and he just did.
Now the Knights find themselves down by 3. And now Jameer Cross with that one. Now they find themselves within 1. Wise to Carroll. The outside to Nelson. And the mid-range shot, no good. By number 34, Khalil Williams. Gets his own rebound. Wise to Nelson. Dribble drive. And somehow rebounded by Khalil Williams, even though Tyler McCready was right there.
Tyler McCready was right there, but right underneath his hips, you had number 34, Khalil Williams, just pushing and boxing out and doing what he needed to do to get the rebound over a much taller defender, or much taller player rather. And Khalil Williams, he's the second leading scorer for this Lions team, and a lot of his points come from the mid-range.
And that'll go out of bounds. And it'll be Lions ball. We'll have some substitutions coming in, namely number 21, Jaron Anderson, number 4, Sam Armstrong, and number 45, Michael Newfield.
Some great substitution opportunities for the Knights. Obviously, they have a timeout now, so it'll give those substitutes going in a little bit extra time with Coach Winslow to talk about what they need to do and replacing these players coming in. Michael Newfield, I just want to take a minute to talk about him. So good down low on the post. Not the tallest guy in the world, stands right around 6'6", but he has such a smooth touch down there on the low blocks that he's a hard time for anyone to handle. So you have the two extremes with your two bigs, two players to play really the center position for your Coach Winslow's Knights team. Tyler McCready, 6'10". Big, strong, able to get his position by bumping you and forcing you out of the way. Michael Newfield, on the other hand, very fluid, has such a good touch down there on low blocks. You expect them to feed him a little bit, but I think early on they won't use him in that aspect. They use him as more of a distraction. Get him the ball down low, and he'll dish it out to wide open three-point shooters like Sam Armstrong or Austin Wood.
Yeah, one of the great moves that Michael Newfield has, that spin and layup off the right side, but he's also a great three-point shooter, just great shooter in general. I mean, and this guy is such a student of the game. You know, I went on the trip with them to Randolph College when the Knights were successful in taking that game, and even after the game was over, Michael Newfield was watching videos on shooting instructions, like how to get most improve your shot, even after a game where he shot very well. And so he's constantly studying to improve his game. And actually, the ball will go to the Knights. So the Knights will be inbounding it with Alec Johnson. It looks like they're going to call an offensive foul on the Knights. On Michael Newfield. And so the ball will go back to the Lions, inbounded by Zachary Scott III. And inbounded to Brandon Coleman. The Knights showing a 2-3 zone here with Sam Armstrong and Jameer Cross at the top. The three-point attempt. It's going to bounce around, no good. But they're going to say that it was off the hands of the Knights, and they'll stay with the Lions.
Nelson, I'm really surprised there wasn't an over-the-back call called on number 22, Dylan Daniels on that play, because he jumped right over the head of Jameer Cross and Jaron Anderson.
The Lions have it back. They get in the paint to number 22. That is Dylan Daniels for 2. The Lions now take a 5-point lead. Jaron Anderson to Jameer Cross. Sam Armstrong, a great three-point shooter that he can be.
Sam Armstrong leads this Knights teams in three-point percentage.
And Jaron Anderson with a dribble drive in the paint for 2. Using his body to kind of box out the defender and get an easy layup. Lions with the ball back. Dribble drive. Wise with it now. And that's a good pass from Dylan Daniels to Patrick Mulville, who just recently checked in. Mulville with the 2.
A really good cut by Patrick Mulville. Just lost the sight of his defender, which I believe is Jaron Anderson. Just able to get a wide open layup.
Alec Johnson with it to Jaron Anderson. To Armstrong. Armstrong for the deep 2. No good off the back iron. So the Lions love it back. And checking in for the Knights will be number 11, Kellen Winslow. Lions working with it. Louisville with the screen. And the floater, but rebounded by Michael Newfield. That was number 5, Zachary Scott III, who attempted that floater. Armstrong with a screen from Newfield. Jameer Cross with it. A nice pass to Michael Newfield in the paint for 2.
That's what we've seen so far from the Lions. They haven't been able to guard that roll very well. Not even really a pick and roll situation, just Jameer Cross drawing so much attention to Michael Newfield able just to sneak his way back, and it was a great pass by Jameer Cross in the end, and just an easy layup for Michael Newfield. Knights need to continue playing that. It seems like this Lions team just doesn't have the spatial awareness maybe to defend that pick and roll offense.
And that 3-pointer is good by Brandon Coleman. And so the Knights find themselves down by 6. Just under 8 minutes remaining in the first half. Jameer Cross getting multiple screens from Michael Newfield. A jump shot. Offside iron, no good. Rebounded by number 22, Dylan Daniels. Louisville in the paint. But then the shot goes up and in for Dylan Daniels.
Saw on that last drive, Patrick Mulville of the Lions thought he was going to go up with it, but then again, the drive, both teams not really doing a very good job of defending that drive. You see, they lose track as soon as a guy has an opportunity to take a shot. The players off the ball make their runs wide open.
Jaron Anderson, no good on the 3, but rebound by Michael Newfield. It was tipped to him by Sam Armstrong for 2.
I think on that one, Sam Armstrong gets the rebound and the assist. A beautiful tap pass rebound to Michael Newfield.
And so now a timeout will be called, and we'll have some substitutions for the Knights as they find themselves down by 6 to the Lions of Penn State Harrisburg.
And Austin, just something interesting about this Lions team, such a differentiate between classes of their players. They have 6 seniors, which is a great number for seniors, but you also have 6 freshmen. Your leading scorer is a freshman, your second leading scorer is a senior. So just to have these 2 extremes in terms of NCAA Division III experience and to have them work so well together has to be a testament to head coach Don Friday and his program. This Knights team, on the other hand, they've got an eclectic group of guys. They have a few freshmen, but the majority of the team's made up of juniors and sophomores. So they have them for a few more years, but for Penn State Harrisburg, next year they lose half their team, but then their leading scorer and other key guys on the team step up and gain an experience. So both these teams built for the future, it seems like.
Well, absolutely it is. And, you know, as Coach Winslow is going to continue to be the coach here at SVU, I mean, he looks to build upon this program that has had plenty of success in years past and off and on years, but Coach Winslow doing a great job of establishing a great culture for these young players to continue to develop. We had some new faces come in this past semester, or I guess the semester we're in currently. And so, like you said, definitely built for the future as both teams are breaking out of their timeout huddles. And on the floor now for the Knights is senior number 11, Kellen Winslow. Number 20, the sophomore guard, Austin Wood. You also have the senior, Tyler McCready, number 44. The freshman, number 24, Trey Dill. And the sophomore, Jaron Anderson.
Dawson, I think the guy on the Knights, on the floor right now for the Knights that has the most to prove is number 20, Austin Wood. He wants to prove that he can be that point guard of the future, be the thing that the Knights need to propel them into the next level. Tonight, he needs to show his ability to guard their leading scorer, Danye Baylor-Carroll, and find himself his offensive groove.
And they're going to call a foul here, number 40, Chris Bing. And the ball will go to the Knights. Trey Dillon and Chris Bing were battling it out for positioning in the paint. And the refs felt that the foul would go against Chris Bing. So the Knights will have it. Austin Wood bringing it down the floor. McCready with it now. Wood to Winslow. Anderson to McCready. Mishandled pass ends up being a turnover. The dunk attempt by Brandon Coleman ends up just being a foul, and it'll send him to the free throw line.
It's a great way by Brandon Coleman to get out and have that pace to outrun a lot of the Knights, but a really brave play coming from Kellen Winslow to even attempt to get in the way of that. He put himself in an opportunity to be put on a poster by a sophomore, Brandon Coleman, but I think in the end it was a good foul. Make him get those 2 easy points from the line, or make him work for those 2 points from the line as opposed to 2 points from an easy layup.
Absolutely, as the first layup is up and no good. This looks like the foul pays some dividends here. Second one up, no good. Rebounded by Tyler McCready. And he's thrown to the ground, but no foul call. Brandon Coleman with it again. Carroll for 3. And that's good. Carroll just seems to not be able to miss from 3-point range. Coach Winslow arguing about the safety of his players as he felt like there was a big foul there that was not called. But the refs for today are Joseph Danik, Rich Gurgley, and Charles Trent.
Dawson, more than that, there had to be a foul call on the play, and I was just about to say, and then just as I was about to say that, Coach Winslow talking to the referees, and referees immediately teeing him up. There hasn't been really any room for a warning or anything. Referees just teeing up Coach Winslow just out of the blue, it seems, for just arguing and trying to protect his guys.
So number 2, Baylor Carroll, will go to the free throw line after that technical foul. First free throw's up and good. Carroll's second free throw is up and good, and so the Lions will have a 12-point advantage. But the Knights will have it now. Jaron Anderson with it. Some fancy dribbling from the sophomore. Now to Austin Wood. Tyler McCready left wide open. They're going to call a travel on the step through. I don't think Tyler McCready realized how wide open he was.
It's hard for a center to realize he's that wide open because it's almost every single second of the game, offense, defense, you always have someone on your hip. So when you're left out wide open, it can take you by surprise because you're expecting that contact right away, and he just didn't have it.
Lions with it now with a 12-point lead. Coleman at the top of the key. Out to Wise. Dribble drive. Dribble drive again. Coleman for 3. No good. Rebounded by Kellen Winslow.
Knights really need to find their groove on offense. Need to find a way to do what they did in the opening minutes of this first half. A lot of those runs and those cuts through for open passes.
Going to call the foul number 2, Danye Baylor Carroll. And that's his second foul.
And Dawson, more than that, Danye Baylor Carroll picking up his second foul, but also Danye has 16 points in this game already. He's already has more than he averages on the entire season. It's only the first half.
You can credit that to the amazing shooting he's had so far. He just can't seem to miss from 3-point range.
He shot 4 or 5 from 3-point land so far.
Tyler McCready on the inside for 2, and it's up and in. A great dish from Jaron Anderson. But now the Knights can concentrate the defensive efforts on other players now that Carroll is out of the game.
Still have to be wary, though. Number 34 for the Lions, Khalil Williams, the second leading scorer for this Lions team, so they're not out of the woods yet.
Stolen by Austin Wood. Heading the Knights' way. Out to Kellen Winslow for three. Up and no good. Out to Austin Wood. To Kellen Winslow. And tipped out of bounds by Keenan Wise.
Great offensive rebound and hustle play by Tyler McCready, able to pass it back out to Austin Wood. That's what you need if you're the Knights. You have those open threes, you need to take them, and you need to start making the Lions pay for leaving you wide open. It's not falling right now, but eventually it will. If numbers keep the way they are, the more you shoot, the more opportunities you have for the ball to go in, and then it's a whole new style of basketball you're able to play.
McCready had Austin Wood at the paint, but elected not to give it to him. Trey Dill from the side. Baseline shot is good. Pulls them within 7. Nearly tipped away. And it's getting back to Kellen Winslow. One-on-one opportunity. Pass it out to Jaron Anderson. Spin move inside. Up and no good. It'll be a foul. Foul will be on number 1, Brandon Coleman. And so that'll send sophomore forward Jaron Anderson to the line. And so a immediate timeout here before those free throws, but a great opportunity there for the Knights. And great play by Kellen Winslow to get it to the open man, Jaron Anderson.
And also that, Dawson, we see some great defensive play by the Knights so far. They're able to get into those passing lanes and doing what we talked about, what they needed to do at the beginning of this game. Cut out the guard play. The Lions don't have, they have skilled big men. They just don't give the ball to them a lot. So if you cut out the passing lanes to the guards, you restrict and choke the entire offensive plan for the Lions. Doing a great job so far of doing that, and luckily it's turning into offensive opportunities for the Knights.
It absolutely is, as now Coach Winslow gets to talk to his team here. Now only down by 7. The lead has fluctuated a lot here in this first half with just under 4 minutes to play. And it's gone from being a 10-point, 12-point lead for the Lions down to just 2 points, back up to 7. It's gone back and forth for the Knights, and like we said, fortunately for them, the Lions without their leading scorer on the floor.
Absolutely. See Danye Baylor-Carroll, a little bit of foul trouble, only has 2 fouls. If you're Coach Don Friday, head coach of the Lions, you don't want to risk it. You don't want to risk him getting that third, and then you're some really deep water with him there. He's done amazing this game. And so if you're the Knights, every chance that he's off the floor that you have, you need to capitalize with all you got. It's almost like a power play if you're playing hockey or some other sport like that. When he's off the floor, you need to get your offensive group going, and they've done it so far. And their defensive side of the ball has been fantastic as well.
You absolutely got to take advantage of all your opportunities now. As Jaron Anderson will go to the free throw line. Again, he got fouled in that fast break opportunity. The first one is up. And it's good. Jaron Anderson, a very consistent shooter overall, able to provide offensive sparks for his team when he comes off the bench. Second one's up, and it's in. We're seeing 2 substitutes about to come in for the Knights. Number 32, Alec Johnson, and number 23, Jameer Cross.
Coach Winslow just trying to get a little bit more dynamic in terms of how to play it on the floor. You take out your playmaker in Kellen Winslow, you add another one in Alec Johnson. And Jaron Anderson and Jameer Cross, very similar styles. They like to play that run and gun fast pace. We'll see if it pays off here for the Knights.
Lions get a fast break opportunity here, and Bing misses the easy layup. But the Lions will get it back. Eventually, again, rebounded by Scott III. Carroll for 3. He's back in the game. No good. Rebounded by Tyler McCready.
Knights finally able to pull one down there after a slew of shots from the Lions.
Jameer Cross with it to Trey Dill. Tipped away by number 40, Chris Bing. And they'll get the foul call that time, as Coach Winslow wanted the foul the first time.
Foul number 40, Chris Bing, his second, 17th foul.
So Chris Bing will get his second foul of the night, or of the day, I should say.
I'm not really surprised there on Chris Bing picking up that foul. There were opportunities before the reach-in foul where he could have been fouled. He's pushing his hips into everybody he guards, and when he's up there with Trey Dill at the top of the key, basically at the half-court line, you can't really touch a guy at all, especially with hand checks being illegal.
As that free throw is no good by Trey Dill. The Knights find themselves on defense. Carroll being guarded by Jameer Cross. Scott the third out to Coleman. Carroll with it. Scott the third dribbles in on Austin Wood, and that one's up and in. Make it 35-28.
Scott the third.
2.5 minutes left in this first half. Back to Austin Wood. Alec Johnson working in the paint. Up with the right hand. No good. Rebounded by the Lions.
I like that move, though, by Alec Johnson. Even though he didn't finish it at the end, it was a great move.
And the foul will be called on the Knights as number 34, Khalil Williams, went up and got the and one. The foul will be called on number 23, Jameer Cross.
Called on Jameer Cross. That's the counts by Khalil Williams.
And so that'll send Khalil Williams to the free throw line for the and one. And the free throw is no good. Rebounded by Tyler McCready. The Knights working it. Austin Wood to Alec Johnson. Dribbles in. Layups up. No good, but a foul will be called on number 22, Dylan Daniels.
Great drive by Alec Johnson, but I really want to talk about the defensive play there of Dylan Daniels. He had two choices. He could do the foul Alec Johnson, send him to the foul line and make him work for 2 points, or let him, or stick with him, not go up with it, and he'll just dish it off to Tyler McCready, who was wide open. So the three options you had, either give Tyler McCready an open dunk, Alec Johnson wide open layup, or send him to the line. I think it was the best of the three options, and it's only his first foul of the game.
Yeah, definitely a lose-lose situation there as Alec Johnson attempts a second free throw, and that one's up and rattles out. Scott the third up against Alec Johnson. Johnson blocks it, but it's rebounded, put back in by Khalil Williams. A great block by the senior guard.
Great block by the senior guard, but he's looking to his teammates of what was happening after I blocked that shot. You need to box out and make sure every lane is covered.
Great effort by Scott the third. That's dished off and nearly taken away by Jameer Cross. Jameer Cross reading that pass from Donye Baylor-Carroll. And you see Jaron Anderson being subbed in for Alec Johnson.
Dawson, I think on that last drive, Donye Baylor-Carroll, remember what happened to his teammate just a play earlier, getting swatted, so elected to just pass it up.
So the Lions will inbound it from underneath the basket. Coleman. Shot by Wise is no good. Rebounded by Trey Dill. Jameer Cross with it. Handing it off to Jaron Anderson, who attempts a three-point shot. And that's up and in. Make it 39-32. Now the Knights working on defense. Layup is up and no good. Rebound by Tyler McCready. Kicked out to Austin Wood. Hands it off to Jameer Cross. Three-point shot. Up and no good. It was just short. Everybody wanting a travel as it looked like Coleman was holding the ball up in the air for multiple steps.
Well, Coleman wanted to pass it. He wanted to pass it with one hand, but the dribble that he took right before the pass went way too high. It should have been a travel call or at least an over-under.
Austin Wood with it. Hanging off to Jaron Anderson. Gets the screen. And they're going to call the offensive foul on Jaron Anderson as the shot goes in, but it won't count.
Just like Jaron Anderson, he really does this every single time he has the ball. As soon as he throws a shoulder in, he extends his elbow out to try to get that space.
As the Lions get the ball back here. Coach Winslow having an altercation with the ref here on this side.
More than an altercation, referee officially handing Coach Winslow a warning and saying the next time he acts up, he's gone.
So Carroll making it down the court. Coleman dribble drive. Carroll for three. They're going to call the foul right as the buzzer's about to go off. And so it'll send Carroll to the free throw line. The refs discussing it here. And so they're going to add another 9/10 of a second, or I guess 1 total second. Or at least just under a second left, as Carroll is about to take his 3 free throws. So officially it'll be 0.9 seconds added back to the clock. Won't make a whole lot of a difference because not a whole lot of time to get a desperation shot off. So Carroll will attempt the free throws. Left some rebounders in there, being Trey Dill and Tyler McCready. First free throw is up, and it's good for Carroll. Second free throw getting some noise from the SVU crowd. Second free throw's up and good. His last free throw, and basically the last thing that will happen in this half, is good. So they're going to sub in number 3, Ibn Hanif Nelson, for these 0.8 of a second. That's basically what's going to happen is he's going to inbound it and then chuck it. And that will, of course, not fall into the hoop, as is now 44-32 going into the second half. The Knights having some offensive rhythm, but trying to find some answers defensively against this Lions crew, who have just been able to find some scoring with Danye Baylor-Carroll, their leading scorer, doing phenomenally from the three-point line. And a lot of frustration from Coach Winslow over the Knights. And we're back at the Knight Arena for some first half analysis. I'm Dawson Weidrich. With me is Chris Fly. And Chris, if you were to sum up really quickly that first half, how would you do that?
And Dawson, really just boil it down to really tough play from both teams, but amazing three-point shooting from the Lions so far. Shot an amazing percent from beyond the arc, mainly under the wing of their leading scorer, Baylor Carroll. He's done an amazing job this game of shooting it from deep and also getting his own shot. So it really just comes down to threes. The Knights have shot a few. The Knights have found success down low in the paint with Tyler McCready and other guys like that in the pick and roll. Meanwhile, the Lions are just 3 points. You can't match up threes and twos. You're just going to lose all day.
Absolutely. You know, Carroll made his first three-pointers since then. He now has a total of 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Had a foul there later in that first half. But I want to talk about Tyler McCready as well. Tyler McCready started off really well offensively, had that putback dunk that got the crowd into it. Did some great work there. So I feel like, for me personally, I want to get more to Tyler McCready. He's the key there, and you want to get people that have length on Carroll in order to prevent those three-point shots. But again, Chris, Carroll being so quick and able to create his own shots and get free of defenders.
Absolutely. He's done an amazing job so far. And what we've seen, the Knights try to put a host of defenders on him. I've seen Kellen Winslow taking a shot at it. Austin Wood doing a really good job so far in that first half of guarding Carroll to the extent where Carroll only scored when Wood wasn't on it. A lot of picks happening, getting the Knights disoriented on defense and getting those wide open shot opportunities. If you match up man-on-man with defense, the Knights can stop this Lions team. They just need to be able to do that and get their spatial awareness up to know where those picks are and know where those screens can be so they can know where to move.
Absolutely. You mentioned Austin Wood. He's made his first start and really first times on the court for the Knights in a while. He's been kind of off and on this roster playing as in a starting group or a bench role. We also have players that haven't quite made the floor yet. We haven't seen any of Neil Davis, the dual athlete for SV. We haven't seen any of Slaughter or any of Quincy Jones. There's a couple players that haven't quite hit the floor yet because Coach Winslow hasn't felt like they were needed yet. But we'll be anxious to see how they're worked on in the second half.
And it's really surprising that Neil Davis hasn't made his face shown in today's game yet. He's dressed out for the squad. Really need to put Neil Davis in. He can offer so much for this team on the defensive side. He's so athletic, so quick, plays great defense. Him and Kellen Winslow, when you have them on the floor and you key those players, you key the Baylor Carrolls and the Williams of the Lions, you key those players and make sure they never get the ball in their hands. And if they do, they don't even have the space to even breathe. You need to suffocate them at the point where they have the ball, and then you'll be okay. I think really Neil Davis needs to make his presence known in this game. It's just up to Coach Winslow putting him in.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you have different people that are going to play in different roles. Looking to see Sam Armstrong make some three-point shots in the second half. He hasn't quite done that early on. Jaron Anderson has put his talent in there, three-point shooting with a three-point shot. And so we'll see how that goes on in this second half. And with that, that's the first half analysis for us. We'll be back in just a few moments for the second half of this CAC conference matchup. We'll be back with you in just a few moments. And we're back at Knight Sports Arena for the second half of this matchup between the Lions of Penn State Harrisburg and your Southern Virginia University Knights. Right now the Knights face a 12-point deficit heading into the second half, but the Knights will start off with the ball inbounded by Alec Johnson.
Dawson, this is time. The opening minutes of this second half is really the time for the Knights to prove that they can play. They've shown so far that they have the abilities to have the plays, just been a little inconsistent, which has really been the story of the season. So these opening minutes of the second half, crucial for this Knights team.
Alec Johnson, we're going to get it to Jameer Cross, Austin Wood trying to get it into Tyler McCready. Alec Johnson is successful at that. McCready immediately double team, but gets it up. A reverse layup with two defenders draped all over him.
Tyler McCready got the ball into him, immediately drew two defenders, and able to grab that offensive rebound and put it back up. Great work by Tyler McCready. And if you're the Knights, you know that every time he gets the ball, he's going to be doubled. So you need to move. You need to give him space. Give him those options down there low in the post.
McCready, the leading scorer for the Knights today with 12 points. Following him is Jaron Anderson with 7. Trey Dill playing some good offense on Chris Bing. The shot's going to go up and in for Bing.
Foul called on Trey Dill.
Dawson, that was just a really smart play by Bing. He felt Tyler McCready on his back jump, and so he just backed up into him and then put the shot up, able to draw that contact. But if you're Tyler McCready, you don't need to jump. You don't need to jump to get your hands on any of these. You're 6'10", you have a wicked wingspan. Chris Bing is only 6'8". You don't need to jump to contest any of these shots. Just stay there, put your hands up.
The last foul was indeed called on Trey Dill. That'll be his first of the game. Alec Johnson getting the ball away from Trey Dill to Jameer Cross. Gets it into Austin Wood for the easy layup and one. A great assist from Jameer Cross. So Austin Wood will go to the line.
And even more, Dawson, I think that's the third foul on Danye Baylor-Carroll.
Big story for that because Carroll is their leading scorer for the Lions, having 19 points in that first half. The first free throw is, well, the one and only free throw is up and in. So it brings it to 10 points. The deficit anyway. Williams to Carroll. Austin Wood defending. Coleman out to Bing, who's defended by Tyler McCready. That one's up and no good. Somehow rebounded by Chris Bing as he's fallen to the floor. Coleman for three, no good, but rebounded by Trey Dill.
And that rebound just fell to Bing. Bing was on the ground, just ball luckily falling basically into his lap. But I want to go back to Tyler McCready and that defense. That's what you need to do. That's all you need to do. Stay there, stay in front of Bing, stay in front of your man, and keep your hands up. He's not going to make it over top of you.
Absolutely, and Alec Johnson getting a good look on the inside, but fouled as he shot it, so he'll go to the line for two. And so that's the third foul on Chris Bing. So they have 3 fouls on both Carroll and Bing. And we'll see number 22, Dylan Daniels, checking in. I believe that was for number 40, Chris Bing. The second free throw from Johnson is up and in. Make it an 8-point game. The Lions breaking that full court press. That jumper no good. Rebounded by Jameer Cross. That was Zachary Scott III who was going after that rebound. Cross with it. Gets it in the paint. It's Tyler McCready. Up with the right hand, no good. Rebounded by Dylan Daniels.
Just too hard on the touch, right off the back iron. He needs to lighten up his touch a little bit, and that shot's going to fall every single time.
Scott III gets to Coleman, into Daniels. Defended by McCready. Dylan Carroll dribble drive. In and up and good over Tyler McCready.
Now Dawson, if you're Danye Carroll, you're 5'7". when you drive, most people think you're going to pass it, but you actually have a little bit of advantage as a shorter guy. What you do when you drive, and you do what Donnie Carroll did just there, you drive it in, and you immediately throw your body into the biggest guy there.
And Trey Dill getting the basket right there. An altercation happened between Trey Dill and number 34, Khalil Williams.
I think Khalil Williams not taking too kindly to the fact that Trey Dill just had a wide open opportunity after blowing by him on defense.
Trey Dill playing defense on Khalil Williams. Khalil Williams getting in the basket, jawing a little bit with Trey Dill. Alec Johnson having it stolen away by the Lions, but it's going to go out of bounds and be night ball. And so a timeout will be called by the Penn State Harrisburg Lions.
Penn State Harrisburg.
You saw that in the last possession, a few of the Knights players complaining that the sweat on the floor needed to be mopped up, that it was too slippery to be able to play on.
Well, that's being taken care of right now by the athletic staff, but the Knights putting some good work early on in this second half. Now down by 10, 51-41, and now with a chance to put it back within single digits.
They've had this chance, and they've found success like they have the entire game on those harsh cuts, finding the open man on the cut, getting in front of him, and getting those easy 2 points. Their shots so far have not been falling from deep. And good thing for the Knights, they've recognized that, and they haven't relied on the three to stay in this game. They're finding those easy layups. They're finding the hard post work by Tyler McCready. They just need to keep playing this out by ear, and eventually your three is going to start falling, and you're right back in this game.
A little stat we'll talk about as far as shooting is concerned. The Knights have only shot 28 shot attempts, whereas the Lions have attempted 40. And so that difference, of course, letting Penn State Harrisburg to understandably have a lead. So the Knights need to make sure they maximize their possessions, get as much shot attempts as possible, get some offensive rebounds, and we'll see if they can do that with this possession. Inbounded to Jameer Cross. Alec Johnson coming around to Trey Dill. Austin Wood with it at the top of the key to Jameer Cross. Some great defense being played right here by the Lions. And a foul will be on the Lions.
I think, Dawson, that was a foul on Tyler McCready, a moving screen there as we see Alec Johnson trying to cut across. Tyler McCready just getting the moving pick.
Absolutely, you're right, and that is Tyler McCready's second foul. So another timeout will be taken here with just under 16 minutes left in this second half.
I think this media timeout gives Coach Winzo just an opportunity to talk to his guys about what they need to do in this second half. You're down by 10. You found success with the pick and roll and those easy 2 shots, but eventually you're going to have to start shooting the 3. With the Lions shooting so well from 3, you cannot stay in it without taking a few chances from behind the arc.
And with that, you have plenty of players to do the job. You got Jaron Anderson, you got Alec Johnson, Jameer Cross, and they also have Sam Armstrong and Kellen Winslow. So many people can step in and shoot that 3-point shot. Austin Wood has improved himself, and Michael Neufeld. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Trey Dill included, of people who are capable of going off from 3. Again, like you mentioned before, the Knights have only taken 8 3-point attempts. And so if they can get those wide open shots, why not take them?
Absolutely, Dawson. I think Trey Dill needed to step up to the plate and shooting those 3s. He's in there, consistent minutes. He's usually always in the game, plays great defense. He's known for his rebounding and his mid-range shooting, but he's second in the team in 3-point percentage, shoots 38.4% from beyond the arc. So I think he's the guy that needs to step up. Leading the charge for 3-point percentage on the season is Sam Armstrong. We haven't seen him too much in this game. He's had a hard time keeping up with the fast guards of the Lions. So Trey Dill really needs to step up and start pulling the trigger from beyond the arc.
As the Lions have the ball now, Coleman to Carroll. Jameer Cross defending. Scott the third. Carroll will attempt the 3-pointer. That's no good. Rebounded by Dylan Daniels. No good, but then rebounded by Trey Dill. Carroll tried to get the foul by reacting to the defense as Alex Johnson gets it into Austin Wood, but then Michael Newfield gets it and is rejected by Dylan Daniels. Carroll to Williams. Now Coleman with it. And a charge will be called on Brandon Coleman. Austin Wood taking the charge.
That's exactly what the call has to be. He saw Brandon Coleman. He dropped his right shoulder. He tucked the basketball away almost like it was a pigskin and just lowered his shoulder and just drove in. A great call by the refs.
Alec Johnson taking up the floor for the Knights. Still a 10-point game. Hands it off to Trey Dill. Austin Wood, it's a cross. Austin Wood trying to get into the paint to Michael Newfield. Stolen away by Khalil Williams. Brandon Coleman. Carroll to Scott the third. Dribbles in, out to Carroll for the three. And it's up no good off the front iron. Rebounded by Khalil Williams. Dylan Daniels, the baseline jumper is good.
Just left wide open. Michael Newfield came up. Daniels for just a split second. The Lions took advantage of it.
And taken away by the Lions. Brandon Coleman goes for the dunk, misses, but rebounded by Michael Newfield.
Brandon Cole going up for that dunk. He's trying to say that Jameer Cross inhibited him from doing that by cutting underneath him.
You'll see Jaron Anderson check in here for the Knights in a few moments as Jameer Cross goes in the paint and is fouled. Fouled by number 1, Brandon Coleman.
Foul on 1, Brandon Coleman.
That's Brandon Coleman's third foul of the night.
And so that'll send Jameer Cross to the line. And that's 4 fouls. Well, it says there's 4 fouls on Carroll on the scoreboard. And the free throw is good by Jameer Cross. So the ref's having a discussion with the scores table here, trying to fix who that last foul was on.
Just a little bit confusion between the referees right now. The original call was on number 1, Brandon Coleman, and that would have been his third. And it looks like they'll change it back.
And so Donye Baylor Carroll will stick with 3 fouls, whereas Brandon Coleman will now have 4. And Brandon Coleman was just subbed out. And checking in for him is number 3, Ibn Hanif Nelson. And Jaron Anderson, who just checked in for the Knights, is covering Carroll. Stripped away from Trey Dill, but they're going to call a jump ball, and it'll stick with the Lions.
As soon as Zigger Scott III drove it in and took the spin, Trey Dill and a host of Knights just right there, didn't jump up, try to go for the block. Instead, met the ball at the point of where it was, able to strip it away. It looked like a clean strip. Referee saw it differently, instead calling a jump ball call.
Scott III electing not to shoot the outside shot. He doesn't seem to have that range. Has had many opportunities to shoot threes, but hasn't taken them. Carroll with it now. The shot clock winding down. And it's going to throw up a crazy shot that does not go in, but he gets his own rebound. There's going to be a push foul call on number 21, Jaron Anderson.
And Dawson Baylor Carroll almost got that circus shot to fall. You saw it just go right off the top of the glass and hit the front iron. Almost fell, amazingly able to get his own rebound. Surprised no one boxed him out on that last possession.
Jaron Anderson now has 2 fouls. Carroll for 3. And that's going to fall wide open for Carroll. And Kellen Winslow will check in for the Knights. Trey Dill for three. He's not going to fall off the front iron. Rebounded by Jameer Cross, who goes over the right hand. No good. There's a fight for it in the paint, but it's recovered by Carroll, who passed it up to Keenan Wise, who was fouled by Trey Dill.
See both teams just scrapping for it on the other end of the floor. No one able to come out with it. The Lions somehow getting it knocked out to Baylor Carroll, then passing up to Keenan Wise.
At the line, Keenan Wise.
If there was a mad scramble for a ball, I believe that is what the definition would be, is that image, that last possession right there. As Keenan Wise goes up to the free throw line. First free throw is up and good.
And Keenan Wise leads this Lions team in three-point percentage, shoots 50% from beyond the arc, which is outstanding percentage on the season. He's been really quiet today on the offense and defensive side of things. Really the only time we've mentioned his name throughout this broadcast.
And in fact, that is his first points of the game, was that free throw. Second one is no good. Rebounded at first by Michael Newfield, but it'll end up in the hands of Jaron Anderson. Jameer Cross for three. No good off the back iron. Rebounded by Kellen Winslow. But the foul will be called on number 12, Patrick Mulville.
Foul on blue 12, Patrick Mulville.
Had to be a foul as soon as Kellen came down with that rebound. You just saw Mulville's elbow go right into the side of the head of Winslow.
So the Knights will inbound it. Jaron Anderson will be passing it in. Gets an inbound to Michael Newfield. Gets it out to Kellen Winslow, who mishandles it, and it goes out of bounds.
Just not able to corral that ball and bring it in, but no time for talk. The Lions are right on their heels.
Keegan Wise with it now. Patrick Mulville. Nelson tries to pass it to the paint to Khalil Williams, but it goes off him out of bounds.
It was a good drive by Williams and a good pass coming from Nelson. Just unfortunately too far ahead of Williams. Hit him right in the tip of the fingertips and went out of bounds.
Kellen Winslow with it. Jameer Cross on the far side. Keegan Wise defending. Anderson for three. No good off the side. And they're going to call a foul on Trey Dill.
Foul called on Trey Dill. His third.
And that's Trey Dill's third foul of the contest, and that sends the Knights into immediate timeout. To give Coach Winslow an opportunity, his guys are still down. It's a 14-point deficit. You need to find a way to get back in this game. Your three-pointers aren't falling, and the success you found from the mid-range and from down low has started to wear out. You need to find some sort of answer.
Absolutely they have, and it's been a scrappy second half so far. The refs letting the players play a little bit. In fact, there's been times where players have been on the ground battling for the ball, no whistles being blown. And it's been an exciting one, but very frustrating for the Knights as they have not been able to find a great offensive groove in the past few possessions.
Absolutely have, and they really need to find an answer. You saw, I guess we saw Neil Davis taking off his warm-up and checking into this game. See if he can just bring that edge to the Knights and be that spark plug and take the plays where most people wouldn't think he would. The football player for SVU turned into a basketball player. He's got the guts to do what it takes. A lot of players wouldn't take the shots Neil Davis does, but he just goes in there with reckless abandonment and puts up shots. Maybe he's the spark plug for this team to be able to get back in it and get their heads back in it.
I would not be surprised to see if Neil Davis ended up guarding Carroll. Because again, like you said, his shutdown ability at defense, his quick feet, because he covers wide receivers in football. Why not high scorers in basketball?
All right now, Dawson, they need to find an answer to Danye Baylor Carroll. He has 24 points on the night. He only averages right around 14 a game on the season. Putting on a shooting clinic from three. He shot 5 of 9.
Now the Lions with it. Keegan Wise to Nelson. And now it ends up in Carroll's hands. And Jameer Cross still sticking with Carroll. And Neil Davis guarding Keegan Wise. And that's going to go out of bounds. Knights ball. So defense from Neil Davis already paying dividends.
That's what we expect to see from Neil Davis, really. That's what his calling card really is. Such a defensive stud for this Knights team.
Neil Davis on the far side. He's guarded by Patrick Mulville. Winslow to Anderson. And they're going to call travel on Jaron Anderson. Well, substitutions for the Lions. First come in number 40, Chris Bing, and number 5, Zachary Scott III. And Chris Bing has 3 fouls. And so he's already been in some foul trouble for some time.
Zachary Scott III checking in. Would look like for Keenan Wise. Keenan Wise is not able to find his stroke so far in this game.
Chris Bing, the outside jumper is good. Make it 59-43. Kellen Winslow handing it off to Jameer Cross. Neil Davis to Kellen Winslow, who attempts the 3. No good off the back iron. Rebounded by Michael Newfield. Puts it back up and in. Michael Newfield getting on the board.
Great work by Michael Newfield just to get his space, to get his place under there, boxing out 2 or more Lions defenders and able to put it back up.
Next, that's Michael Newfield's 6th point of the contest, 3rd basket. Now goes going to go out of bounds. Night ball.
That pass looking for Khalil Williams. Khalil Williams not ready to receive the pass. Goes off his hands and out of bounds.
Knights setting up their offense. Anderson on the outside. Screen from Newfield. Jump shot from Jaron Anderson. No good off the back iron. Rebound by Michael Newfield and fouled by Danye Baylor-Carroll.
Michael Newfield has something to prove on that drive just there. He set the great pick for Jaron Anderson. Jaron Anderson elected to take a contested shot. If you look back towards the left side of the court, Michael Newfield's wide open on a pick and pop opportunity to shoot the 3, and he can. So as soon as that shot from Anderson went up, maybe a little frustrated, didn't get the ball in his hands. Michael Newfield charging in, getting the offensive rebound, and gonna get himself on the board no matter what.
And Carroll getting his 4th foul of the game. The scoreboard says 5, but he only has 4. So the first free throw from Michael Newfield will fall. Michael Newfield will attempt his 2nd free throw. Knights find themselves down by 13. That's up and in. Now only down by 12. Keegan Wise in the paint. Pass to Khalil Williams. Goes up and rolls its way in the rim.
Williams able to finish the contact. Had Kellen Winslow and Michael Newfield's hands in between him and the basket.
Williams is the 2nd leading scorer for the Lions with 14 now. Neil Davis with it. Michael Newfield. Pump fakes a 3. Will shoot it. No good, but rebounded by Kellen Winslow. But it ends up in the hands of Keegan Wise. Brandon Coleman, fast break. Jaron Anderson will be called for the foul. Him saying that he only got the ball. And it will be indeed on Jaron Anderson.
Well, Dawson, with the way the Knights have jumped at every single opportunity they've had to block a ball, they've gone for it. If you're Brandon Coleman of the Lions, you know that Jaron Anderson is going to come. He's going to look for the emphatic swat. So he did what he needed to do. He pump fake, got Jaron Anderson up in the air, leaned into him for a foul.
And that is the 3rd foul on Jaron Anderson. Number 22, Dylan Daniels, will be checking in for the Lions. As the ball will go out of bounds, possession will go to the Knights. Jaron Anderson inbounding to Jameer Cross. Kellen Winslow at the top of the key. It's going to go out of bounds on the Lions. Off the hands of number 1, Brandon Coleman. Alec Johnson will check in for Kellen Winslow.
Alec Johnson checking in for the Knights.
Alec Johnson able to get to it. Jameer Cross on the far side. Gets it into Neil Davis. Gets it out to Michael Newfield. 1 second on the shot clock. And so it'll be a shot clock violation on the Knights.
Dawson, I'm really surprised there was no foul call on the initial time Newfield got the ball. As soon as he got the ball, you see number 12 of the Lions, Patrick Mulvihill, just leaping into Newfield. Has to be some sort of foul call on that play.
But the Lions have it now. Find themselves up by 15. Dylan Daniels to Keegan. Keegan Wise with it now. Coach Winslow wanting a double dribble. Missed shot, rebounded by Jaron Anderson. Three-point attempt from Neil Davis off the side of the backboard, but a rebound by Jameer Cross. Stopped by Dylan Daniels. And Neil Davis will get the foul call.
I love that play by Neil Davis. Not afraid to take a three, even though they have been falling tonight, and then following up the shot by Jameer Cross and able to put it up and now being sent to the line.
So the timeout here in trade deal will check in for the Knights. Immediate timeout, I should say. And so find themselves down by 15. The Knights all night long have done things that most of the games would help them tremendously, would have them in a lead. But right now, the Lions playing a level of basketball that is hard to compete with, especially with the way that the Knights haven't been able to find shooting from the three-point line.
Absolutely, and Dawson, one other thing the Lions have done extremely well, they've moved the ball very efficiently throughout this game. The assists on the game between the two teams, the Knights have 9, the Lions have 15. So not one guy is taking complete charge of this game for the Lions. Instead, it's a collection of guys moving the ball, but at the same time, you know who they're trying to get it to. Either trying to get it to Khalil Williams, who has 14 points, or Danye Baylor-Carroll, who has 24 points on the night. It's the only two guys they're getting the ball to. Everyone else still in single digits or not even on the board yet. So no matter how much they move the ball, and if they have a wide open opportunity with someone that's not one of those two top leading scorers, they're not going to take it. You need to key those guys, and no matter what, they're going to get the ball, and that at the end of the offensive possession for the Lions, that's who the ball is going to.
Another player to look out for the Lions is Dylan Daniels, number 22. He has provided some great sparks for them. He now has 8 points and has some great rebounds, and actually, last possession had 2 straight blocks. And so definitely one to look out for as Neil Davis makes his way to the free throw line. And again, Trey Dill will be checking in for the Knights. Just under 8 minutes left to play. Free throw is up. Off left side, no good. Second free throw is up. And it's good. And Trey Dill will come in for Neil Davis. Make it a 14-point game. Brandon Coleman with it. Austin Wood defending. Scott the third at the top of the key. Screen from Dylan Daniels. Only 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Keegan Wise puts up a desperation shot that somehow goes in.
I think Keenan Wise was even surprised that that one went in for him. Just kind of heaving it up there at the end of the shot clock. Somehow made its way in.
Alec Johnson getting it to Austin Wood. Johnson to Wood. Out to Anderson for 3. No good off the front of the rim. Rebounded eventually by Brandon Coleman. Past the corner. Keegan Wise for three. No good. Trey Dill rebounding. Alec Johnson, Trey Dill with it. Trey Dill up and no good, but will get the foul.
That's a great play by the Knights. Trey Dill knowing that in that 2-on-1 opportunity, need to pass the ball around and confuse the defender. Good by Alec Johnson, knowing that as soon as Trey Dill gave it to him, he needed to dish it back.
Now we'll see Sam Armstrong checking in for the Knights. As Trey Dill attempts a second free throw, no good. Sam Armstrong checks in for Jaron Anderson. The second free throw is up, and it's short. Rebound by Trey Dill, though, and it's up and in.
Tough shot by Trey Dill, but a great way to finish, especially after missing 2 straight from the line. Knights shooting pretty well from the foul line so far this game. 15 of 20, that's 75%.
Lil Williams at the top of the key. Brandon Coleman into Bing, who's double teamed by Alec Johnson and Michael Newfield. Brandon Coleman for three, no good. Rebounded by Coleman, who goes up, no good. Eventually rebounded by Trey Dill.
That's just great defense by Neil Davis.
Stolen away by Carroll, who was fouled by Alec Johnson, it looks like. And it will be on Alec Johnson.
Foul on Alec Johnson.
And that is his first foul of the game.
At the line will be Baylor Carroll.
Baylor Carroll now on the line for another opportunity at 2 points. He already has 24 on the night. He shot 5 of 5 from the foul line.
The Lions look to build to their 14-point lead. The first one is up and in. Jameer Cross checking in for the Knights. The second free throw goes off the front of the rim and in. Jameer Cross will go in for Austin. Austin Wood, I should say. Jameer Cross coming down the floor, guarded by Scott III. Hands it off to Sam Armstrong, gets a screen from Newfield. Armstrong gets a handoff. The Lions playing some very tight defense right now. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Michael Newfield for three. And it's good! Michael Newfield ends the three-point shooting drought for the Knights.
And he's had some very good shots from beyond the arc. Luckily, this is the first one to fall. Michael Newfield has the stroke and the ability to shoot it from beyond the arc. Now we just need to keep riding this. He's had a number of very good shots from that range. It's a smart plays. Keep feeding him and see what can happen.
The Knights pull it within 13. Carroll to Khalil Williams. Trey Dill defending. Carroll for three, no good. Rebounded. Well, there's a fight for it, but it's going to go out of bounds on Trey Dill.
It seemed like on that last opportunity to rebound, you had two Knights players fighting over Trey Dill and Michael Newfield, not talking to each other and see who's going to get the ball, and it just popped right out of their hands and fell to Williams.
So inbounding it will be Zachary Scott III to Carroll, to Khalil Williams, back out to Carroll. Chris Bing ends up on the floor. Defense from Michael Newfield, but there'll be a foul called. Sorry about that, as Chris Bing was going up for the shot.
Just looks like the hands of Michael Newfield got caught up in the hands of Bing. You saw earlier in that possession, Bing fell to the ground. Michael Newfield overpowering him. But Michael Newfield made a mistake there. When Bing got up, Michael Newfield didn't regain the position he had. He kind of, when Bing fell to the ground, he lost that position. He needed to maintain it, keep it out, and then Bing's not going to have that opportunity.
So Chris Bing misses that first free throw. but hits the second, making it 67-53. Alec Johnson bringing it down the floor. Brandon Coleman defending. Alec Johnson up with a layup, and it's good. Make it 67-55. Carroll slowing down the offense. Carroll guarded by Jameer Cross.
Cross has something to prove when guarding Baylor Carroll.
Williams defended by Trey Dill, and he misses. Rebounded by Michael Newfield.
That's the fire you need to see. Both Trey Dill and Jameer Cross showing that want and desire to stop their man at all costs. Trey Dill and Williams have been going at it this entire game.
Michael Newfield to drive, goes to the dunk, no good. But fought for by Trey Dill. Looks like the ball will go to the Lions. Trey Dill making contact with the chairs on the opposite side of the floor.
Media timeout.
We'll have a media timeout with just under 4 minutes remaining in this game.
Absolutely, Dawson. And with those last remaining minutes, we're finally starting to see that fire from the Knights that have been waiting for the entire game. On defense, they're clapping their hands, they're yelling, they're getting in the Lions' face. They want to stop them at all costs, like we mentioned before. And on offense, the confidence is there. You see Michael Newfield, not known for being able to throw it down, had the opportunity to do so and went for it, even though he didn't convert. That's what you want to see. You want to see that confidence, you want to see that fire in your team and propel them on both sides of the ball.
You really do. It's those big momentum plays that really can help spark your team. That's exactly what Michael Newfield was trying to do. He's trying to get that big momentum play, get the crowd involved, get the sideline and the bench involved. And the Knights are still in this game. It's only a 12-point game, under 4 minutes left. It's very possible if the Knights can strap down on defense, convert on some shots that they can control, things that they hold onto the ball basically. That's been a big problem for them today as they've had great possessions that have just ended up in turnovers.
Absolutely, Dawson. A player I think is surprised we haven't seen him in a while. Tyler McCready, he's leading scorer right now for the Knights. He has 12 points, 7 rebounds. We haven't seen him in the last couple of minutes. Maybe Coach Winslow saving him for those really crucial minutes, probably within 2.5 minute range. So if we don't see Tyler McCready come in within the next minute, then I'm not sure what's going on.
I think what Coach Winslow is thinking here is that the Lions like to play fast, and Tyler McCready is not known for his speed. And so they need fast, able-bodied defenders in there. And then Michael Newfield pulling in for Tyler McCready at that position.
And also the fact Michael Newfield has that stroke from the three-point line that the Knights really need right now.
Carroll giving it to Scott the third. Bing to Coleman. Carroll has it on the outside. Guarded by Jameer Cross. The fadeaway jumper. No good. Eventually rebounded by Trey Dill. But stolen away by Carroll.
Just not smart plays by the Knights so far. You stop them on defense, then you immediately give it back to them and give them another chance.
Approaching 3 minutes left. The Knights need a stop. Alec Johnson working on Carroll now. Screen from Bing. Carroll dribbling in. The pass. That ends with Khalil Williams. Brandon Coleman fades away as the shot clock goes off. Rebounded by Jameer Cross. A much needed defensive stop from the Knights. Jameer Cross the jumper, and that's going to fall. Bring it within 10.
The shots you got to convert if you want to stay in this game. Great job by Jameer Cross, recognizing the space that he had, taking it, and it's an easy two.
Brandon Coleman to Scott the third, all by himself.
It's something we've seen so far with number 5, Zachary Scott the third. Every time he gets the ball, nothing really happens. He never shoots it. He'll drive from time to time, but he's always looking to dish it. So when he gets the ball, you see the Knights dropping back. They're playing smart. They know that he's not going to be the guy that makes an offensive impact, scoring-wise.
Very true as Alec Johnson goes for three, no good. Jameer Cross gets the rebound to Alec Johnson. Sam Armstrong for three. Up and in. Bring it within 7 points. Sam Armstrong, the big three-pointer to bring momentum to the Knights side.
Really clutch play by Jameer Cross. Able to get that rebound over top of the head, which I believe was Gregory Scott III. Pass it to Alec Johnson, and then you have Sam Armstrong in the corner, your leading three-point shooter on this team, wide open. Of course he's going to convert and bring it within 7.
Absolutely. Now it's 7-point lead for the Lions. The Knights need to have a handful of great defensive stops. They've been able to come away with those these past few minutes. Let's see if they can keep up that effort. So right now, if you're Coach Winslow, you want to make sure you keep playing tough defense. As you see Jaron Anderson checking in, you want to make sure you can get the ball back. You want to lock down Carroll. Carroll almost had some opportunities to extend the lead the past few possessions. You do not want to let him do that.
Absolutely. You also need to lock down number 1, Brandon Coleman, because he's shown he has the ability to take those big shots. The Lions right now, they might play it down to Bing into Williams, maybe once or twice, just looking for a wide open shot here and there, or maybe to even draw a foul. But like you said, the guys to watch, Danya Baylor-Carroll and Brandon Coleman, those are the guys you need to keep.
Alec Johnson working on Carroll. Carroll dribbling in, kicks it out to Scott III, who attempts the jumper. No good. Rebounded by the Knights. And going to be a foul on number 2, Danya Baylor-Carroll.
Dawson, I think that's his 4th of the night.
It's actually his 5th on the night. The scoreboard says 6th, but that's his 5th, and that is enough to get you fouled out.
Danya Baylor-Carroll now fouled out of this game. He's had a great night. He's ended with 26 points, so he still made an impact on this game. But if you're the Knights, that's a great sign. He's their main offensive threat. Now the only people able to get to it is Brandon Coleman. I look to them to look through Brandon Coleman for everything. They're going to try to pass it to Gregory Scott. I don't think he's going to all of a sudden start shooting his shot. He shot that deep too, but that was off. They're going to try to get to Brandon Coleman and Khalil Williams in this last couple of minutes now that Baylor-Carroll's out.
Right, absolutely. And if you're the Lions, you don't need three-pointers. You need two-point shots. And Khalil Williams has been very consistent at that. But if you're the Knights, it'd be ideal if you could just get a couple of three-point shots. Sam Armstrong has shown that he is a clutch three-point ability. Jaron Anderson also has that ability. Trey Dill. Basically everybody in the lineup for the Knights right now, have the ability to make those three-point shots. So, it depends on how you want to go about doing that.
And absolutely, Dawson, but you still have enough time where twos can get you where you want to go.
Exactly.
But you haven't shot the three well all game. Therefore, the Lions are dropping back. They're going to leave you wide open at that three, so why not take the shot when you have it? You have enough time where just any sort of offense will get you back in this game. But I think the key for both teams here is defense. Knights cannot allow the Lions to get on the board any more than they are. The time is running out for the Knights, and the Lions, they need to play the stiffest defense they can. They're probably going to put in smaller guys and try to keep it a fast-paced game. Maybe keep one or two bigs down low to try to stop the offensive charge from a Michael Newfield or a Trey Dill of some sort like that.
Definitely, Chris. And Alec Johnson will be going to the free throw line, hoping to bring it within 5. Just under a minute and a half left in this second half. First one's up and good. Now down by 6.
And Dawson, if you can get it within 5, it makes the game so much more manageable as a coach and as a player.
Second free throw up and good from the senior. And now the Knights need to play lockdown defense here. Brandon Coleman with it. Chris Bing. Keegan Wise. Now the Lions looking to chew up as much clock as possible. And a foul by Jaron Anderson. And so that will send Brandon Coleman to the free throw line.
Not a smart foul by Jaron Anderson. He was looking to go for the ball because he wants that opportunity in the fast break. There's 8 seconds left on the shot clock. You don't need to foul. You have him right next to the half-court line. He's going to have to take that space. That's going to take time. It's an unfortunate foul for Jaron Anderson, but at the same time, you can see what he was trying to do.
And the free throw is up and good. Make it 68-62. Bring it back to a 6-point lead. Second free throw is underway. And good. This will be 69-62, 7-point game with just under a minute left. And a foul will be called on Khalil Williams.
You saw after that foul, Khalil Williams jumping up and down, mouthing the words, "It's clean." I can assure you it wasn't. You reached in with your arm, you got your chest into him, you bumped him obviously hard enough to force motion. Not clean. It's a great call by the refs.
Definitely, as we see Kellen Winslow checking in for the Knights. Alec Johnson at the free throw line. And it's off the front of the rim, no good.
Shots you need to convert. These are shots you need. If you're Alec Johnson or a Knight, you need these shots from the foul line. They're free opportunities for points.
As Kellen Winslow checks in for Jaron Anderson. Second free throw for Alec Johnson is up and good. Make it 69-63, a 6-point lead for the Lions. So with this timeout, the Knights have a chance to have or put together that last-minute strategy that every coach likes to put together. Figure out what possession you need to do and who needs to take the shots. Who is feeling it right now? Who is feeling confident?
And Dawson, you have enough time now where you don't need to be looking for the clutch shot. You've outscored them in the last couple minutes. You've outscored the Lions if you're the Knights. Keep playing your brand of basketball. Just you really need to cut out the simple mistakes. The poor fouls, the bad basketball IQ passes. Just need an opportunity, and you need that time to play your basketball. You have 46 seconds left to go in this game. That's enough time to play your own basketball, take a timeout, and you're right back in this game. So I don't think you need to look for that clutch shot just yet. Look for the easy shot. Look for the and one opportunity. They're giving you all the opportunities in the world to get to the foul line. You need to take them.
Definitely do, as the Knights on defense here. Brandon Coleman inbounding it.
Well, definitely one thing you can't do, Dawson, is you can't let the Lions, when they have the ball on offense, you can't just let them run around. You need to foul, you need to pressure them, you need to double team, you need to do something to stop the motion of play.
And I think the person you want to foul the most is Zachary Scott III, because he hasn't proven himself to be a quite efficient shooter in this game, whereas Brandon Coleman has indeed. The first one is up and good. Brandon Coleman will attempt his second free throw. Just over 40 seconds left. And that free throw puts them up by 8. Alec Johnson bringing it down the floor. Three-pointer from Johnson. No good. Rebound by Khalil Williams. Fouled by Trey Dill. And that'll be Trey Dill's fourth foul of the game.
Got so many players right now in foul trouble for the Knights, and unfortunately, it's one of the big shot takers, the Trey Dills. He's one of the guys that if he gets the ball in crunch time, he can make the shot. But ideally, for that shot, you want a Sam Armstrong, a Trey Dill, even a Jameer Cross can make those happen.
Khalil Williams misses his first free throw, and you're absolutely right. You want to get a good high-quality shot off his screen. That's one thing that Sam Armstrong is so good at, coming off the screen, catch and release. The second free throw for Williams is up and good. Make it a 9-point lead. Alec Johnson with it. Armstrong with the screen.
You need to take a quick shot if you're the Knights here. Not sure why they're taking so much time.
Winslow attempts the three, no good. Airball fouled. by Sam Armstrong, it looks like. Yep, that'll be on the senior Sam Armstrong. That'll be a second foul.
Foul called on Sam Armstrong.
And it'll send Brandon Coleman to the line again.
And Dawson, if you're the Knights, when you're on offense and you have these opportunities, as soon as you get a hair of enough space to shoot the ball, you need to. There's no time to run around and try to find a good shot. That time was when it was 40 seconds, 50 seconds left in the game. As soon as it gets under 35, the first opportunity you have at a good shot that you think you can make, you pull it. Especially if you're saying Armstrong can shoot so well from deep.
Jaron Anderson coming in for Kellen Winslow. And that free throw puts the Lions up by 11. Just under 20 seconds left.
Knights need to keep their composure here.
And Jaron Anderson gets stripped. Now Lions off the ball.
It looks like Coach Winslow would just let it go.
Yeah, he will, as the Lions take this one 74-63. And the Knights will have another loss here. An unfortunate loss. Great work by the Knights overall. Great offensive work. But just in the end, not able to manage their possessions properly. And so with that, again, we thank you so much for joining us on the Knights Sports Network. This has been a great doubleheader here at the Knights Sports Arena in Buena Vista, Virginia. I'm Dawson Weidrich, and with me is Chris Fly signing off. Thank you so much, and go Knights.